What's up, everybody? It looks like we are live. Make sure that everybody can hear me. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm excited. I'm so excited. So excited. Let me know when y'all are ready. Let me know when y'all can hear me. We can go ahead and get ready to get going. I know I have to check in first. Half the time YouTube doesn't even hear me. Shutting off my sound all of a sudden. Can't talk shit if y'all don't hear me, right? You know? Somebody give me a thumbs up. If y'all can hear me, we'll go ahead and get going. I think that we're good. Okay, it says we're live, but I want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Can you hear me? I think y'all can, and it's just I can't see it. So that's fine. Perfectly fine. So what's up, everybody? It is Niko House, and I am the host of the political radio show Mi Casa es Su Casa. Now, the MCSC network we are expanding, as you all know, and this is one of our expansions. Our new series is called Political Twitter Beef. And it didn't take very long for me to find my first victim. I thought it would take a little bit longer than this, but literally I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh, this fell right into my lap. So, what's up, Thon? What's up, Pat? How you doing? So, essentially, I came up with this because I feel like there are way too many people on Twitter, and not because we're not just going to be doing Twitter. It's called Political Twitter Beef, or Political Tweet Beef, I should say. But it's not just about that. It's essentially about the social media world where people feel like if you argue on Twitter, then and you say a bunch of things that aren't true, then nobody can call you out on it because like all I'll do is block you, right? If I just block you and put your tweets on mute, then you can't respond. And I can't be faced with the reality that I'm, stupid. And I don't have any of my facts straight. Now, I don't want to think about this as bullying as much as it is exposing people and making people, hopefully in the future, think before they say some shit on Twitter just to pander to their audience. And this guy is absolutely the king of pandering to his audience. Now, before I get started, you all can clearly see that this guy is a conservative. He's a black conservative. And he's not one of those, he was raised in a Christian household, and so he became a conservative because of, his socially conservative beliefs and the whole idea, because this is like this black thing where we are very, very self-sufficient. Is something that we kind of have in our community that we bolster. Now, some people that makes them a liberal, and some that makes them a conservative. But the problem with the conservative side is when you're a radio show host, what you begin to start doing is talking shit about black people for views. This guy is the definition of that. He followed me some time ago. He had like 200,000 followers, I think. Like 277,000 followers. He followed me, and then I followed him back. I was like, whatever, it's cool. Because I follow, if I think that you have at least something substantive to offer, I'll give you a chance. So after our confrontation, on Twitter, the guy decided He's going to block me and then unblock me so that we unfollow each other so I don't see his bullshit so he doesn't get caught out on his bullshit. Yeah, that's a punk ass move, in my humble opinion. But let's go ahead and get started, right? So this is the tweet that sparked it. This isn't the only tweet that made me look into him specifically, but this is the tweet that sparked it all off, right? He said, "The truth always wins out. Another amazing truth is Trump is still handicapped with not having all his positions filled because Democrats are holding him up." And then he says, "President Trump has done more to help the American economy in his first year than Obama ever did. And don't forget this important piece. Obama had a supermajority in the House and the Senate his first 2 years." Now, understand something, ladies and gentlemen. If you have listened to me anytime in the past, you know that I am indeed not an Obama fan in the slightest. But let's be honest, people. Why didn't you just say Trump helped the economy? Because if I'm having a conversation, for example, I'm a Bernie Sanders fan, right? So if I'm having a conversation with people about Bernie Sanders versus Hillary or Hillary versus Bernie Sanders, I don't say, well, yeah, Bernie does this, this, and this. Oh, and by the way, Obama fucked up. Like, I don't say that. That has nothing to do with the conversation, and nor do I have any desire to say that. I don't think about that first because I don't think in the common establishment school of thought where it has to be either left versus right or this person versus this person unless they're legitimately going up against each other. Like, unless they're still legitimately competition. And they're like, Obama is gone and he's out and he's actually not coming back. But this guy, every other tweet is talking shit about Obama. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of you all know at this point, black conservatives talking heads specifically, have this really bad habit of bashing their own people for views. Why? Well, let's be honest. It's quite profitable. If you Google or YouTube any famous black conservative, what are the quotes you always see them talking about usually? It's usually insulting black people in some way, form, or fashion. It's black people's fault. It's black people's fault. But what about Chicago? It's your fault. Colin Kaepernick, he doesn't represent us. He takes his freedoms for granted. Like, those kind of guys. You know. The Ben Carsons of the world, the Alan Wests of the world, the Wayne Duprees of the world. Like, somebody somewhere knows a famous YouTuber who literally gets famous for talking shit about Obama because he's black. Or the woman, I can't remember her name, on Facebook. I try not to remember people who are unimportant. But the woman who on Facebook literally has made a living off of talking shit about black people. And she's like, my two guy friends inspired me at a bar one time when we were having a political conversation. And that's when I decided that I didn't have to fit the same mold as every other person. Her two super ultra conservative white military friends agreed with her that, yeah, you should keep bashing black people. That would make a good show. Huh. I wonder why. This is what we call cooning, in case you're unfamiliar with this. It's in some people's communities, it's another word or another phrase for Uncle Tom. It's a guy who's going to play his part to get his job, to keep his radio show. Because black people figured out really fast. The ones who are all about their money and that's it. They don't give a damn about he doesn't give a damn about like what his words actually do to the community. He doesn't give a damn about what his thoughts, etc., etc. Did I say anything like that? No. I just said, hey, provide me some examples, please. And then he goes on to say, Niko, if you have to ask for examples, then you've been watching too much CNN and MSNBC or reading pop culture website forums. I'll give you a few. Removing regulations, pushing tax cuts have brought huge businesses in. which that didn't happen. But utility companies cutting rates to customers. Trust me, I live in Florida. We have FPS. That did not happen. Trust me on that one. And employee bonuses. Okay, I'll bite on that. But let's go ahead and address the first part. Niko, if you have to ask me for examples, then you've been watching too much CNN and MSNBC. What? Mr. Dupree, question for you, bro. And why, if I ask you a question, you don't know whether I'm progressive, liberal, conservative, right, left, whatever. I just said examples and he took it offensively. This is an establishment tactic. This is, when I say establishment, I mean both on the right and on the left, right? You see, I didn't mean to do that, but both on the right and on the left, you see these people, I'm going to believe what I believe because this is what makes me the most profit. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because this is what makes me the most profit. They're going to do it no matter what, right? So he automatically assumes I watch CNN and MSNBC. How many of y'all know me, right? When do y'all ever, if and ever, see me say anything nice about CNN or MSNBC or Rachel Maddow or Joanne Reed? I just did a whole segment on Joanne Reed the other day. I don't like that woman. She gets on my damn nerves. But he assumed that I read pop culture website forums. If you watch any of my Hillary Clinton at the Grammys conversation yesterday, then you would also know that I specifically said pop culture has lost their goddamn mind. So what's next? Why do I have to read what would a pop culture forum tell me about the state of our economics? I'm just curious. I don't know. Maybe he can give me an answer. Please, I'll give you a few. Removing regulations, pushing tax cuts. Okay. He did start removing regulations recently. That doesn't mean that the economy got better for everybody. Of course, it also depends how you define economy. If you want to say the 1% is getting richer, then absolutely, you're correct. Yeah, exactly what happened. Okay. Pushing, he said he brought up huge businesses. He brought huge businesses in. By the way, not true. Not true. I'm gonna go ahead and cite my source for that as well. And he said utility companies cutting rates for customers. I don't know where he's seeing that at. I honestly couldn't tell you because he wouldn't give me any examples. Then he said employee bonuses. We're gonna talk about all that too. So I respond with very nicely. I feel like if I was too harsh, you could let me know. I said, didn't tens of thousands of workers get fired right after the tax bill passed? Hasn't income inequality grown even more under his presidency? Which both of the answers to those things are yes, it's true. And I said even Fox Business said that the tax bill benefits almost nobody but the 1%, and some will benefit on a case-by-case basis. But hold on, I'm gonna try to find my other response to that. I said, but I can't find my response to that. But I said essentially that the majority of it will go to benefit the 1%. So then I'm gonna scroll down. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show y'all this. Oh, he better not delete that conversation. I'm gonna be pissed. Oh, let me go to my mentions. How about that? Maybe that's where it will come up. If he delete that conversation, I'm gonna be mad. Why you gonna delete a conversation if you were in the right? I don't get that. Whatever. Let me see if I can find it under this. Okay, so here we go. This is where I asked for examples, you saw. And then I said, actually, I don't like Obama at all. I'm asking you for examples because you asserted a fact about the economy, and I've yet to see any evidence of that. I'm asking you, what are you referring to? Not what Obama did. I think that's a pretty damn fair question. Don't you agree, people? Am I in the wrong for this? Am I in the wrong for saying, hey, if you're going to assert something, then at least do your job and defend what you're asserting. Then that's what he responded with the I didn't say you like Obama. I basically said you aren't looking at all the company documentation, pay raises, and bonuses to their employees. Comcast, Apple, Walmart. Now, for those of you who are not aware, Comcast, Apple, Walmart, all of them, before they gave those major pay raises, which are like $11 an hour, and then all of those bonuses, which they selectively gave out to people who have been there for like 20 years. And then everybody else got like $200, $300 bonuses. They fired a bunch of people before they gave those out. And the reason that they gave out the bonuses was because they didn't want you to know that they fired. So all the bonuses made the news, and then you had to go look through independent media to find out, oh shit. Well, damn. They fired a bunch of people. That's how they were able to give out all these bonuses. Okay, but he said, but one more thing too. Trump has worked on the economy, which the meme said. Obama didn't work on the economy in his first years in. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell Mr. Wayne Dupree is not a frequenter of politics. Now, understand something. I'm young, right? I'm 29 years old. So when Obama first took office, I was 19. But I'm not stupid. And I've been involved in paying attention to politics for quite some time. What was the first thing Obama did when he got into office? If I recall, the first thing Obama did was actually legislation that pissed me off, but it is what it is because it's the truth. Did he do a whole bailout for the economy that both the Democrats and the Republicans voted on, that ended up bailing out all the big banks, made sure Wall Street could thrive, and then they continued to thrive and thrive and thrive. And before, Trump did set a record this time, but Obama set records for Wall Street also. If I recall, maybe I won't there. Maybe he knows a different Obama. Maybe he's talking about Obama, the 47th president of the United States. It's a different Obama. Is this a different administration that we're talking about here? Because I remember, and I was pissed about it. Now understand this too, though. That bailout, one of the few good things that happened was that hundreds of thousands of jobs were saved around the country, but specifically, it actually saved Michigan from going bankrupt. The first thing that Obama tackled, because that was the mandate he ran upon, was getting the economy back together. In fact, I remember literally that's one thing that everybody talked about. I'm not a fan of Obama once again, but let's not be intellectually dishonest, people. Like, is that too much to ask? So let me go back really quick. He started. Some people started coming. You know how the fan base does. He said, when stuff doesn't happen the way you want it, you make it up or you make shit up. The Democratic way. Y'all, am I a Democrat? No, I'm not. I've never in my life actually been a registered Democrat. Never. Not once. Not at all. I don't like the Democratic Party. I do not like them. I don't like the Republican Party. I also don't like people like this. So I'm not a Democrat, nor have I ever been a Democrat. And he responded because he thought I was referring to him. He said, I said stop watching TV and start checking out other sources. Ladies and gentlemen, I asked him to provide the source. I said, I didn't say you called me a Dem. I was responding to somebody else's tweet, and I asked him to provide the source already. So y'all saw that's the first thing I asked for. So then he responded with, no, tens of thousands didn't get fired. The last couple of weeks of December, when the tax cuts were signed for the first few weeks of January 2018. No, Niko, Fox Business never said the tax cuts benefited the 1%, and this was on a case-by-case basis. Now, understand something, people. Y'all, once again, y'all know me. I keep receipts. If I say something about Fox Business, that's a really specific thing to say, right? Here is a video of Fox Business literally having a full, how long was this conversation? This is a 8 to 10 minute conversation. Guess what? All of a sudden, Mr. Dupree, he didn't want to respond to that one. He can respond to my last two tweets. He didn't want to respond to the facts, though. Okay? So we go to the next one. So then he responding to his tweet again. No, that didn't happen. And I told him, I was like, I think you have me mistaken for some type of noob, Cool Breeze, because I keep receipts. Here's another one. Tax reform bill shifts tax burdens on the homeowners. Here's another one. Fox Business. So that means this entire. So like I said, people, I'm not a noob at this. I laugh, I joke, I play a lot on Twitter. I like, getting people riled up. But I asked him a legitimate question. I said, you present your facts. And this is where it got to. He just kept telling me how I was looking at the wrong facts. But when I asked him about his facts, he just totally ignored all of that. Then I said, oh, I'm aware of the bonuses that have preceded a bunch of employees getting let go, like with Walmart and with AT&T. And Carrier, for those of you who don't know, just let a bunch of people go as well. After Trump promised to protect, specifically, he stood in front of the Carrier employees and promised to protect their jobs and union jobs in general. And then somebody was kind enough to provide an article about that. So I said, okay, so once again, because you remember he responded, he said, but one more thing, Trump worked on the economy, which is what the meme said. And I said, okay, so once again, I don't like Obama, but let's not be intellectually dishonest. Obama passed a bailout that actually saved Michigan from going bankrupt and ultimately saved hundreds of thousands of jobs. It just didn't hold Wall Street accountable, which is my biggest problem with that bailout, which is why we're going to end up in the same situation, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Listen, people keep talking about how much tax cuts they're getting, and I'm going to tell y'all something. Every time somebody responds with some dumb shit like this, 23% of tax cuts go to the middle class. Yet it's helping. Just ask any H&R Block consultant. First of all, I do taxes. You don't know what the hell you're getting from the tax cut because you ain't did your taxes for the year of the tax cut yet. You fucking dumbass. This is a perfect example of people who just want to be right. They're going to defend their side no matter what. I haven't attacked anybody at all. I've just laid out facts. These are factual statements. And everybody is just bombarding me with nonsense. And most of the tax cuts, if you don't know, go to the upper middle class. I'm not sure how many of you are in that tax bracket, but that's like 200 to 250 and up. And depending on what state, I would say let's be a little generous. 150 to 250 would be the average, depending on the state you live in. That's upper middle class. Okay, so I told him, I was like, I am an independent news source, but I said I get my news from independent sources. I don't even watch MSM. Once again, most of you all who have watched me understand this point perfectly clear. Which is why I don't just spew Fox News propaganda that y'all clearly believing. Then he says, sorry, Niko, you brought up Fox News. I didn't. I brought up the news reported from American businesses. Have a good day. What news reported? Where are the reports at, Wayne? Where are the reports at, Wayne? We waiting. Where are the reports at? Didn't I ask? That was the first thing I asked. Did I attack Wayne? Y'all, whenever I didn't say, Wayne, hey, bro, you're a fucking asshole, man. You don't know shit. You're a damn Trumper. You're a right-wing conspiracy. I ain't say none of that. I just said, okay, hey, can you show that, please? Where's that at? Examples. So he refused to show them. I said, I didn't say. You called me. Y'all saw that already. I said, Trump didn't do anything significant to the regulations of the economy until the end of the year. So your company would actually be benefiting from Barack Obama's policy still, unless they're a public company traded on the open market. Now, what that is referring to is the fact that people do not really understand that, you don't benefit. Like, for example, it took Bush quite some time for the economy to fail. It didn't fail in his first year of bad policies. It didn't fail in his second year of bad policies. But over a 2 to 3 year period, yeah, it will begin to affect your policy. Your economy. But it doesn't. Trump didn't walk into office and everybody's like, oh my God, this is my most profitable year ever. It absolutely has to be because of Donald Trump. First of all, if it is your most profitable year ever, did the employees get a piece of that, excuse me? Probably not. So we all know that the tax bill is going to boost the GDP, potentially. We all know that the super wealthy corporations were going to do great. That wasn't our problem. The question was this. What is it doing for for the middle class, for the 99%? Not a damn thing, people. At all. Whatsoever. And he ignores that. That's why I say it depends on how you define economic growth. When people say Wall Street is booming, what they don't say is 80% of Wall Street is owned by the top 1%. That doesn't do shit for us. So, I said, listen, he said, sorry, Niko, you brought up Fox News. I didn't. And then he said, have a good day. You the one who brought up, think about this, people. Wasn't he the one who tried to attack me in the beginning of this? Saying MSNBC, CNN, you watching that. That's where you got your information from. I said, okay. So, clearly, because the only places I've seen that are like right-wing news outlets, they only mention the bonuses, but they don't talk about the firings. I said, okay then. Let's see the reports. I'm always open to learning something new. Where's the response, people? Liberals say, show me, did you know that? I don't know what the hell that means. But he said, liberals say, show me, did you know that? We've been watching progress the entire last year, but liberals always say, show me, because they won't believe it no matter what. Sort of sad. But what you gonna do? An open mind, a clear head, so the truth can be seen. What the fuck does that even mean? What does that mean? I have no idea. What does that mean? This man said liberals say, show me. Hold up. Like I said, I am not a liberal, by the way, people. I am a progressive. I'm probably I call myself a common sense progressive. As in, I don't believe in 100% of the liberal policies, nor do I believe in 100% of conservative policies. I feel like we should have an even mix of both. That's called balance. That's why we have multiple branches of government. That's why we have multiple political parties. So, this asshole, after I asked him, I say, hey, man, let me see the reports. I'm always open to learning something new. That's all I said. So if you're so confident that what you were saying is correct, what is wrong with me saying, let me see the reports? Do y'all consider that problematic? Do you all think that's wrong? Did I approach him inappropriately? Me asking for a fact. Mind you, once again, the conversation started out as, hey, if you have that information, I'd love to see it. Nah, but not him. So then I said, I didn't say Obama was business friendly. I said, but he was bank friendly and Wall Street friendly, and also had a history of deregulation. Remember, us progressives, we kind of unfortunately we're all too familiar with Obama's bullshit at this point. I know enough to make any conservative feel like, damn, I thought I hated Obama. Nah, I know enough about Obama to not like him and to know better. But also, once again, let's not be intellectually dishonest. Sorry about that. But I said some people feel like they've been the most profitable under Obama. Our GDP skyrocketed, which exclusively benefits businesses. But I wanted to say big businesses, by the way, not small businesses. Then he says, remove me from your conversation and continue. I'm out. What? Hold on. I said, so you aren't going to provide the reports because I have more facts. And then his response is, Common Dreams is a liberal website that attacks conservatives. Yeah, we're done. I thought we were on the same playing field. The reports are everywhere other than liberal websites. What? Where are the reports? I'm giving you an opportunity to show me. I said, hey, show me the reports. I said, can you provide examples, please? I can't argue against numbers, well, depending on the context of the numbers, but I can't argue against hard facts. If you show me, hey man, these people, these companies just brought this many jobs here, gave away this many bonuses, and they didn't let anybody go. In fact, they employed more people. How am I going to argue against that if they're quote unquote everywhere? How can I argue against that? Once again, in case you missed that. Common Dreams is a liberal website that attacks conservatives. First of all, every single website is left or right leaning. Every single website that reports. And I get that. Not going to get any arguments from me there. But I can report from Fox News something about Bernie Sanders. That may be true. I know the difference between fact and opinion. It's pretty basic. But clearly, Mr. Dupree does not. Clearly. I said, here's what I hate about the sellout Trump supporters. They pretend to support Trump because he's an outlier. Except they would support any Republican in office while attacking Obama, not realizing they both had and are having orgies with Wall Street. Where is the lie? I want you all to understand something. People like this guy, this is why I have to come at people like him. Do you know how dangerous this is? This guy has 277.5 thousand followers. That is disgusting. Newsmax, top 50 influential black Republicans. Bro, there's only like 50 of y'all. First of all, if we're going to be honest, there's like 50. But, first of all, why do you have to have a top 50 most influential black Republicans? You can't make the top 50 most influential Republicans list? Nah, they won't let you on that. But, do you see why this is dangerous? This guy is just tweeting a bunch of bullshit. And people are just believing him. And he's not even going to provide the facts. If someone asks me a question, hey, can you provide this? Especially if they don't come at me and, hey, can you provide an example of this? If they don't come at me sideways on top of that, hey, man, here you go. You can have it. Here's some articles. What do you think? Let me know. But nah, he ain't want to do that. Let me tell you some of the stuff that actually happened as a result of the tax bill. Sam's Club closed 63 stores the same day Walmart announced the wage increase. I wonder why they announced the wage increase on the same day that they closed 63 stores. Maybe because they didn't want dumbasses like Wayne Dupree knowing or even possibly thinking about the fact that Walmart must have closed a bunch of stores. And this is from The Week. This isn't like a liberal, like a liberal circle jerk of a publication. This is a legitimate publication that just is reporting. It doesn't attack anybody. Nope. They're just closing a bunch of jobs. Oh, this is where it gets beautiful. Walmart could save $2 billion in taxes under the new tax plan, but they closed 63 stores. Oh, that's about, in case you were wondering, people, because he said specifically that tens of thousands of people were not fired, were not let go. Just in the Walmart, or excuse me, just in the Sam's Club closing, 9,450 people were fired. 9,000, that's 10,000 employees for one store. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just listening to liberal publications. Well, if you don't get your Carlton, Allen West, Ben Carson, boy, I can't stand him. I can't stand shit like that. I said, okay, Wayne, show me your facts. Or just say you don't have them and that you made them up and invoked Obama's name because it's what your fans want to see a black conservative do. It's perfectly fine, man. We all got to make a living. No judgment. Of course, he didn't respond to that. It's because it's probably the truth. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. It's the truth. I understand, bro. What, you ever seen Friday? You ain't gotta lie, Craig. Ask anybody who paid attention. I want to read to y'all some more facts. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly of the tax bill. And I want to talk about how quote unquote good it is for everybody. Because when I say quote unquote, you're going to hear what the good part is. So it's talking about the GDP. This is from Forbes, by the way. The GDP will grow exponentially, and there will be a sustained bull market push stock or for a push of the stock market to stratospheric records. Finance capitalism is good for stocks, but not so good for the economy. Oh, did y'all hear that? Finance capitalism is good for stocks, but not so good for the economy. And this is Forbes, which is conservative, by the way. Pro-business, pro-Wall Street. Just want to let you know. Okay, so without share prices rising, without the expense and risk of investing, corporate America was already awash in cash. Trillions, long before the new tax law. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, Mr. Dupree, you said that the economy was trash before. Mr. Dupree, I mean, it was, but not by your definition. Your definition of the economy is Wall Street and rich people staying rich and the stock market being high. So the trillions, they had trillions to blow before, according to Forbes, the conservative pro-business, pro-Wall Street publication. Just want to let you know. If they wanted to invest, this isn't me saying this, people. This is Forbes, once again. If they wanted to invest, they already had the cash. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Bah. Y'all hear Wayne in the background throwing a hissy fit? Bah. Boy, sound like a sheep. He's a sheep. He was going to defend Trump no matter what. That's what a lot of people don't get. Y'all, I don't want to be like, I don't like, well, I'm going to say I don't like it because sometimes it's fun. But it's not that I feel like I have to attack Trump. I don't have to attack anybody. Y'all hear me attack Trump when he needs it. Y'all hear me attack Hillary when she asks for it, which is more often than Trump usually. But guess what? People are like, oh, but you wouldn't attack Bernie. Ha. Ask what happened whenever he went on that radio show and said we shouldn't be worrying about the lawsuit and we should be moving forward. I did a whole video saying absolutely not. That is totally irresponsible. You are not going to be able to hold people accountable in the future if we do not hold them accountable today. Whole video about it. Whenever Bernie was talking about the chemical weapons attack in Assad, I did another whole video talking about he needs to educate himself and do a little research and go research a Pulitzer Prize winner named, damn, I done forgot his name. Y'all know who I'm talking about, though. Talk about him all the time. But We put those chemical weapons in Syria. We attacked those Syrians. Not Assad. I did a whole video about it. I hold Bernie Sanders accountable regularly, actually. People choose to ignore that because I like the guy. That doesn't mean you can't make mistakes. I didn't say you don't have to like Trump. I can't believe you would like Trump, but I didn't say you don't have to like him. What I said is hold your man accountable. Actually, what I actually asked for, I just said, hey man, you mind just giving me an example of what you're referring to? Oh, you watch CNN and MSNBC. Oh God, bro, you got the wrong guy because I am not that dude. I do not watch that shit. I just, read facts. Just read facts. I don't think me asking for simple facts, because I found facts pretty easily that literally say, and it's, once again, I'm not making up the facts off the top of my head. It's not like some, what do you say, a liberal publication that just attacks conservatives. This is Forbes magazine. If they wanted to, they had trillions already. If you said Obama didn't do anything for the economy in regards to Wall Street and businesses and things like that, they had trillions. Or trillions? Well, in case you're just now joining. In case you are just now joining, I'm going to go ahead and let you hear that again. With share prices rising, without the expense and risk of investing, corporate America was already awash in cash. Trillions. Long before the new tax law. Long before it. If they wanted to invest, as in invest in the economy, they would have already done so. They've had the cash. So, armed with the information above, one would think prudent tax dollar investors proclaiming the desire to grow the economy and jobs would make sure the fully invested small firms received at least as much tax relief as the stingy big guys. One would think. So here's the new analysis, and I'm going to be objective. We're going to read over the good stuff, right? So the congressional GOP finally got out of its own way and accomplished something. Oh, that was funny. I didn't make that up. I promise you that was in the Forbes. That was in the Forbes article. So the second thing, he said, at the macro level, a rising tide floats all boats, and the new tax law will be good for America. So I don't really think so. I get what he's saying. He's saying like in some way, form, or fashion, at least you'll have more opportunity to become rich. That's what I would assume there. He said, because like I said, it's a conservative publication, people. It's not like this is Rachel Maddow personally writing an article for CNN trying to bash Trump. So the guy is a conservative, libertarian probably. Corporate America, the C Corps, must have been very good in 2017. Santa replaced their top tax rate of 35% with a permanent flat rate of 21%, making our big firms more competitive globally. Yeah, you know what comes next. So, but I digress. 4. American multinational corporations received more sugar in a permanent territorial tax rate reduction for profits made abroad. That don't sound like America. Abroad means overseas. Okay, so just y'all hear that, right? So there are several trillions of offshore earnings. Offshore? But Mr. Wayne, Mr. Dupree, Mr. Trump, my earnings are onshore. They right here. They're supposed to be onshore in America. I can't get none of those offshore earnings. I don't live offshore. I mean, I live near the shore because I live near the beach, but you get the damn point. It ain't out in the water, in the ocean. When I go to the beach, maybe today, it ain't going to be there waiting for me offshore. That's like a technical thing. You know what I'm talking about. It's money talk. But you know what I mean. So, the alternative minimum tax for corporations is repealed permanently. Starting to see a trend. Referring to the fact that everything's for corporations. So, let's go ahead into the bad. This is not real tax reform. Y'all hear that? Hey, can y'all share this? If you're watching, can you share this right now? Because I need the people in the back to hear this as well. This is not real tax reform. At least they were honest enough not to use that word in the title. The definition of reform is to make changes in order to improve. Implicit in that definition is that changes are permanent. This bill creates as many, if not more, complications than it does remedies. Once again, this is Forbes. This is pro-business, pro-Wall Street, pro-bank, pro-rich Forbes. This bill creates as many, if not more, complications than it remedies. And as we know now, as we now know, it's only permanent for some. I wonder who that could be for. So all of the little things that people are, that I even say, okay, well, for poor people, like the double tax credit is actually for the double the child credit depending on what your tax bracket is. Pretty much for poor people. So that's a good thing, except for that's not permanent. It's not permanent. What makes us think America multinationals will invest tax cuts on repatriated foreign profits in the U.S. economy? Since those firms are doing 60% of their business outside of the U.S., won't the cuts also encourage more overseas business? I think so. Won't the cuts encourage more overseas investments? I think so. These cuts should have come with reinvestment strings. We'll know how this turns out in about a year. Unlike corporations, the alternative minimum tax for individuals was not repealed. So they repealed the alternative minimum tax for corporations, but not individuals. You see how this is going south really fast, people? The original purpose for this tax scourge has been gone for at least 30 years. This is blatant inequity. Oh, so funny, because when I was having this conversation with Dupree, I actually said income inequality has grown more than ever. And we're just seeing the beginnings of it. Even though Section 179 direct expensing was doubled, most small businesses don't put hundreds of thousands into capital acquisitions in a year. Most small businesses at this very moment are trying to float to stay above water. This change is like graciously offering to share your ice cream with someone you know is lactose intolerant. Once again, this is Forbes. What he gonna argue with Forbes, people? He gonna say that Forbes is a liberal publication that attacks conservatives as well? This isn't attacking conservatives. This doesn't even mention the word conservative. Well, actually, the only time that it talked about the GOP, it actually complimented them and said, congratulations for finally getting out of your own way. So, the ugly. Remember that small businesses do with tax cuts and that they create half of the economy. Remember what small businesses do with tax cuts and that they create half of the economy in jobs? If Congress wanted to make sure tax cuts would drive up the economy and grow jobs, they would have at least treated small businesses the same as big ones, but they did not. I wonder why. And yet, corporate America got a 40% effective rate reduction in the form of a permanent tax cut, while qualified small businesses got about 9% of effective rate reduction. And even though those crumbs expire after 2025, can you say stepchild? Oh, but it gets worse. Remember the 20% deduction for qualified pass-through businesses? In my October 1 column, I warned about this language in the proposed tax bill. The committees will prevent the recharacterization of personal income into business income by wealthy individuals to avoid the top personal tax rate. Here's what I warned about. Inexplicably, millions of small business owners, like attorneys, accountants, consultants, won't qualify for that 20% deduction. Consequently, small businesses have just been handed a tax compliance nightmare as the IRS interprets who qualifies. As I warned, when politicians put small businesses and the wealthy individual in a 2-sentence paragraph, grid your loins and prepare for the worst. This is beyond ugly and it's shameless. Hedge funds Number 3, the guardians of finance capitalism saw no changes to the new tax law. Their income is categorized as carried interest in the tax and taxed at the capital gains rate, producing a lower effective rate than other businesses. Trump's economic advisor, Gary Cohn, we tried 25 times to cut the carried interest tax treatment for hedge funds, but couldn't get it done. The economy, America, would be much better off with those tax dollars invested in Main Street small businesses. Can you say, quote unquote, drain the swamp? In summary, this tax bill will be good for America, possibly, the economy, and the stock market. So what's the problem? It's perhaps the most blatant example in history of how the swamp works. Tax policy, inequity resulting from lobbying, small businesses lose because we don't play the game. Every small business owner should take a look at this new tax bill and feel absolutely insulted, abused, and unappreciated. But hey, right? America first. Trump is clearly looking out for your best interest, people. He's clearly looking out for your best interest. Wayne, I don't like people like you because you're going to defend Trump anyway. That is a very dangerous thing. You've actually managed to convince people that you are objective. I'm going to tell you like this. You don't end up in Newsweek's most influential top black Republicans by being objective. Just like I would never end up in CNN's or MSN, right? Talking shit about MSNBC, right? But like I would never end up in CNN's most top influential black progressives. Why? Because if a progressive fucks up, then I'm going to tell them they're fucking up. I'm going to report the facts. You, however, are going to report whatever you can to make ends meet. And that's fine. I want you all to know that you got to watch out for guys like this. But I also want you all to know that this is not going to be our last episode. And like I said, people, this is the first episode of Tweet Beef, but we're going to have more than just Twitter on here. We're going to have some commentators who want to lie and try to finesse their way around the truth, if you will. Oh yeah, TYT's making a special guest appearance later, as you probably guessed. We're going to have articles on here dealing with calling them out. We're going to do it all. We're going to do a little bit of everything. So thank you all so much for watching this episode of Tweet Beef. And I will see you all next time. If this is your first time watching, make sure to subscribe for other news and entertainment, and stick around for the next beef. Always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance.